Brock Lesnar's return. WWE is never going to be the same again. In the world of professional wrestling, there are returns that leave fans in awe, and then there are returns that shake the very foundation of the industry. WWE has officially been flipped on its head. Chaos is rampant. Alliances that once seemed invincible have been shattered, and now, one force has re-emerged, one that no one could have seen coming. Ladies and gentlemen, the Beast Incarnate is back. Brock Lesnar has returned to WWE, and this time, it's not for a championship. No, this time Brock Lesnar has come for something far more destructive: vengeance. He's here to settle scores, and his first targets? Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. What unfolded was one of the most savage, most shocking moments in WWE history. This was not just a return. This was an obliteration, a full-scale war, and it all began in the dressing room of Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. Welcome to the chaos. This is the story of Brock Lesnar's devastating return, the end of a reign, and the beginning of an era of destruction unlike anything WWE has ever seen before. The build-up: Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman's alliance. To understand the magnitude of Brock Lesnar's return, we have to rewind a bit. For weeks, Seth Rollins has been playing a dangerous game. The visionary, known for his calculated strategy, has been manipulating the situation from behind the scenes. His plan was simple: dismantle Roman Reigns' empire, one piece at a time. But to do so, Rollins knew he needed more than just his own power. He needed a mind, a mastermind. Enter Paul Heyman. Heyman, the former advocate for Roman Reigns, had already proven his loyalty to the tribal chief, guiding him through his dominant reign as the Universal Champion. But when Roman Reigns showed signs of unpredictability and weakness, Paul Heyman saw an opportunity. He turned his back on the man who had made him famous. He whispered in the ear of Seth Rollins, a man hungry for power, and thus, a dangerous alliance was born. Together, Rollins and Heyman began plotting, orchestrating a war against the reigning tribal chief. They launched verbal assaults on Roman. Rollins, with his sharp tongue, targeted the very foundation of Reigns' reign, mocking his every move, undermining his legacy. Meanwhile, Paul Heyman, ever the tactician, worked his magic behind the scenes, pulling strings in WWE's corporate halls, trying to weaken the system that supported Roman's empire. But Roman Reigns, the master of the game, was always 3 steps ahead. He knew what Rollins was trying to do. He had seen the cracks in his empire before. And when the time was right, Roman made a call that would send shockwaves throughout WWE. The call: Brock Lesnar's involvement. The atmosphere backstage was electric. The superstars could feel something in the air. There was tension, whispers of something big happening. But no one knew exactly what was coming. Then, the whispers started. Roman Reigns had made a phone call, and on the other end was the most dangerous man in WWE history, Brock Lesnar. The mere mention of Brock Lesnar's name sent shivers down the spine of every WWE superstar. Lesnar is not just a wrestler. He's a force of nature. He's a destroyer, and when he's unleashed, nothing and no one is safe. The energy in the locker room shifted. Superstars began to look over their shoulders, unsure of who or what would strike next. The Beast had been lying in wait, and now, his time had come. The storm unleashes, Brock Lesnar's vengeance. And then, it happened. Brock Lesnar, with his signature intensity and raw aggression, stormed through WWE's backstage area like a hurricane. There was no entrance. There were no pyrotechnics. There was just pure, unadulterated destruction. The Beast didn't wait for an opportunity, he made one. And his first targets? Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. Rollins, who had been so confident in his alliance with Heyman, found himself blindsided. No amount of planning or scheming could have prepared him for the sheer brutality of Lesnar's assault. It wasn't just a confrontation, it was a war zone. Brock Lesnar rampaged through the backstage area, tearing apart everything in his path. Furniture was destroyed. The air was thick with tension and chaos as security tried and failed to contain the beast. And then, there it was, the dressing room of Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman became ground zero for the explosion that would change everything. Lesnar didn't just fight Rollins and Heyman. He obliterated them. He threw Rollins through walls, tossing him like a rag doll. He broke every single piece of furniture in that room. There were no rules. There was no mercy. The beast was back, and he wasn't here for a title. He was here for blood. Paul Heyman, the wise and calculated voice, was powerless in the face of Lesnar's rage. In mere seconds, the man who had manipulated Roman Reigns was now at the mercy of the very monster he had once advised. Heyman was tossed aside like a child, his pleas falling on deaf ears. The beast had one mission: destroy, and destroy he did. Rollins, bleeding and battered, was left laying on the ground, his grand plans in ruins. And Heyman? He was left with nothing but the memory of his once powerful alliance with Roman Reigns, now obliterated by the return of the beast. The fallout: Roman Reigns responds. The chaos didn't stop there. Backstage, Roman Reigns was watching all of this unfold. He had known all along that the time for games was over. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman had underestimated him, thought they could take him down, but Roman had outsmarted them at every turn. And now, with Brock Lesnar unleashed, Reigns knew that his empire was about to grow even stronger. Roman Reigns didn't need to lift a finger. Brock Lesnar had done his dirty work for him, clearing the path for Reigns to reclaim his throne. But Reigns wasn't going to just let this moment pass. He was going to make sure everyone knew who was truly in charge. The bloodbath between Lesnar, Rollins, and Heyman had set the stage for a war that would engulf WWE. It was no longer just about championships. It was no longer just about titles or accolades. This was about power. This was about dominance. And at the heart of it all was Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, who had orchestrated this storm, using Brock Lesnar as his weapon of destruction. The future of WWE, an era of destruction. So, what does this all mean for WWE moving forward? The landscape has been forever changed. Seth Rollins, once the mastermind, is now a broken man, nursing his wounds and trying to regroup. Paul Heyman, the manipulative genius, has lost his grip on the power that once flowed through him. And Roman Reigns? Well, he's more powerful than ever, with Brock Lesnar at his side, and an empire that seems untouchable. But what about Brock Lesnar? Where does the beast fit into all of this? Lesnar's return has not only shaken the WWE universe but has reignited a fire within the locker room. Superstars now know that there is no safe place. No alliance is invulnerable. The chaos Brock Lesnar has unleashed is just the beginning. There are whispers in the locker room that the beast is far from done. And with his targets now firmly locked on Roman Reigns and anyone who dares challenge him, WWE will never be the same. The era of destruction has begun, and it's only going to get worse from here. Stay tuned, because the WWE Universe is about to enter a new age, one dominated by the Beast Incarnate. The question is, who will survive? And who will fall? If you enjoyed this breakdown of Brock Lesnar's shocking return, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Wrestling News CC, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of the insane developments that are about to rock WWE. The Beast is back, and the chaos has only just begun. We'll see you in the next video. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.